Okay, good evening. We are going to call the council meeting for Thursday, October 13th, 2024 to order. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and observe a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sabazli, would you do a roll call, please?
Okay, we'll start with our junior councilman, Adam Smith.
Here.
Mercy Newell.
Here.
Paul Dern.
Here.
Dave Majernik.
Here.
Jerry Purcell.
Here.
Steve Schlock.
Here.
Vicky Rossler is not here tonight. Dave Seitz.
Here.
Skip Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Schlegel is not here tonight. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of September 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Majernik. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the expenses for the month of September 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Purcell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2024 council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schlock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Brings us to recognition of achievements in the community. And in the absence of our honorable mayor, I have the pleasure of reading the proclamation. You want to come forward, Ed? This is for you. It is my pleasure to honor the achievement of Ethan Nesbitt, who came before council with a request that he would like to place our country's flags on the poles lining Michael Thomas Way. Ethan stated he would raise the money necessary to purchase the flags and requested council's permission to have Public Works mount them on the light standards. Consequently, Ethan raised the funds to purchase the flags, and with the assistance of Plum Public Works, they now are on display along the entire length of Mike Thomas Way, fronting our municipal complex. Ethan also stated that his goal is to obtain an appointment to the United States Naval Academy. I have no doubt he will achieve his goal, and council and I are willing to write letters of recommendation to aid in obtaining an appointment to the Naval Academy for him. We are honored to recognize Ethan's commitment and call upon all citizens to help to renew and sustain the American spirit demonstrated by Ethan Nesbitt in emulating his example and committing themselves to address the needs of Plum Boro through voluntary action. In witness whereof, I do hereby affix my signature in the official seal of the Plum Boro on this 16th day of October 2024. Congratulations. If you'd like to say anything, please feel free.
So Ethan, while he's doing that, Mayor Schlegel's not here. Mayor Schlegel's not here tonight, so he still needs to sign your proclamation. So if you want to bring it back or leave it with us, we'll make sure that he gets to sign that and gets that to you.
I was going to sign his name, but I didn't want to go to jail.
Thank you. Thank you for writing a letter of recommendation for me. I would also like to thank the citizens of Plum and Public Works, the Rotary, Knights of Columbus, and our American Legion for donating. We had over 50 donations to make this dream possible. That's honestly really all I have to say. But if there's anything else anyone wants to say, any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Very good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great job. I'm personally very proud of you.
Thank you.
That was a good project, and you followed through and did a great job with it. Be proud, as I'm sure your parents are, as I can tell by the looks on their face.
So I think the flags are due to come down right after Veterans Day.
Yes.
And maybe you can stop up to Public Works and we can inspect the flags to see which ones possibly need replaced. They haven't been up that long, so hopefully we're good for next year.
Yes.
But like we talked about in our meeting before, we want to make sure that when the flags are ready to go back up, that they're in good shape.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, excuse me, that brings us to civic announcements. Okay, I don't see any. President's comments, I do have one thing, and I would just like to announce that the Plum EMS, along with the Plum Fire Departments, they're organizing the Toys for Tots. And there are several drop-off locations. There's one at each fire department, there's one at the EMS building, and there's gonna be one here at the Borough building. And they would like new unwrapped toys by December 1st. And then they have the big, I think the big kickoff up at the high school, the 12th. And that's all I have. Citizens' comments on agenda items.
We don't have anyone signed up for that?
Okay. And that takes us to council actions. And Mr. Majernik, on behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 1003-24, approving the 390 Coxcomb Hill Lot Consolidation Plan, Oakmont Water Authority, FSC-04-24, contingent upon the final review and approval of the Borough Engineer.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 1004-24, reapproving the Midas Lot Consolidation Plan, FSC-02-24, as recommended by staff.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Seitz, on behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to make a conditional offer of employment for a skilled laborer position in the Public Works Department to Tyler Smith.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Seitz. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz, or I'm sorry, by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to accept the resignation of Jessica Yamnitsky, effective October 9th, 2024.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Seitz. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to terminate the employment of Scott Fawcett, effective immediately.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Seitz. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Ms. Rossler is not here tonight, so on behalf of Public Safety, Mr. Schlock, please.
Yep, thanks, Mr. President. On behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I move to approve advertising an ordinance to amend the civil service regulations.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Schlock. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Mr. Taylor, on behalf of Parks and the Recreation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Parks and Recreation Committee, I move to add the sale of 2 futsal nets to the asset disposition list.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And Mr. Schlock, there's nothing on the Finance Committee? So that moves us to Mr. Purcell on the roads, equipment, and grants.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dern. On behalf of the Roads and Equipment and Grounds Committee, I move to adopt ordinance number 983-24, adopting road and construction standards.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment and Grounds Committee, I move to adopt resolution 1005-24, accepting the fee simple convenience of the Plum Community Library property.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment and Grounds Committee, I move to authorize the Borough Manager to execute documents for the Consul PA Department right of entry.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment and Grounds Committee, I move to award the bid for the Holiday Park Stormwater Project Phase 2.5 to Quigley Development, the low bidder at a cost of $116,780, based on the recommendation of the Borough Engineer.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment and Grounds Committee, I move to authorize staff to advertise an ordinance to amend the current solid waste and recycling ordinance.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. That concludes council actions. The mayor's not here. I did not have a report from him. So that moves us to the committee reports. And we did have an intergovernmental meeting last month with the school board. And the only thing that I really think that we should be announcing is they have a security system up there that they're the first school in Pennsylvania. It's Centegis. And they talked extensively about it. And it seems to be a pretty nice package. So it's in all the schools, and it's keeping the students and staff safe. So Mr. Seitz, Personnel Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Just a short report tonight. So interviews were conducted for the position of laborer, truck driver, and staff recommended appointing Tyler Smith to the position, which we did tonight. And the mechanic position was posted on September 21st. One interview has been conducted so far, and the staff will be interviewing additional candidates as they apply. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Seitz. Mr. Schlock, Finance Committee.
Thanks, Mr. President. General fund highlights for the month of September 2024. The borough recognized revenues totaling $2,960,091 and incurred expenditures in the amount of $1,354,910. Revenues, to date, we have received approximately $3,050,000 in current year real estate tax revenues, and this represents 47% of the adopted budget. During the month of September, the borough received $417,000 under earned income tax, and we are currently at 81% of the budget. A total of $610,281 was received against the state pension fund line, and it will end the year at 106% of the budget. Overall, revenues are trending near budget. Expenditures. Through the month of September, the borough has expended 67% of the budget, or $10.73 million. From a departmental standpoint, we have no current budget overruns. The finance director and the borough manager met with department heads to review their 2025 budget submissions. They also prepared for their presentation to the finance committee. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Slock. Mr. Purcell, roads, equipment, and grounds.
Thank you, President Dern. Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee report. The 2024 paving project has been completed. The joint stormwater and water line project between PBMA and Plum Boro along Holiday Park Drive is underway. The water line part of the project has been completed. All the taps for the residents are done. The contractor will be starting the stormwater portion of this project in the upcoming weeks. Once this part of the project begins, the following roads will be closed. Abers Creek Road from Cuyahoga Drive, Holiday Park Drive at Fiesta Drive, and Holiday Park Drive at Havana Drive. The stormwater pipe replacement on Tionesta Drive and Wedgewood Drive has been completed. The fence at the Ross Hollow Road retention pond that was removed during the pond retrofit has been replaced with new fencing with privacy screening. Crack sealing was completed on numerous roads throughout the borough. And Public Works graded, seeded, and placed erosion control in the area between the municipal complex building and the Al Franci building on Mike Thomas Way. That completes our report.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. In the absence of Ms. Rossler, Mr. Slock, would you give the Public Safety Committee report, please?
Yes, I will. Thanks, Mr. President. Public Safety Committee report. Plum EMS conducted her annual car seat safety clinic, completing 34 car seat safety checks and providing 2 free car seats to families in need. Completed 3 additional car seat safety checks and provided 2 free car seats and 1 free crib for families in need from the community. And participated in Fall Fest, Sampson YMCA Senior Wellness Expo, and will be providing flu shots today from 6 to 8 p.m. in the lower level event rooms in the municipal building. That's all I have.
Mr. Maloney, do you want to come forward and give your EMS report, please?
I believe someone beat me to the line there, but I appreciate it. Now, Brian Maloney, Director of Operations, Plum EMS. Along with a lot of the events that we did throughout the month, we ended up running a total of 258 responses with 150 patients transported. We ended up responding to other communities 15 times throughout the month. Now 8 of those were, we actually assisted with the city of Pittsburgh with special events in their area. So when we go there, we actually add on an extra truck, so we don't take anything from the Plum area. We actually had to receive mutual aid in the Plum 22 times throughout the month, which is close to a record for us. The EMS gods were not looking kindly on the area, and we got multiple calls at one time. So we had to have our neighboring communities or the agencies come help us out. So we're lucky in the sense of that. As was mentioned, we did do our car seat safety clinic last month. And let me tell you, we set a record, 34 car seat safety checks, and that's 30 minutes per seat. That's over 1,000 minutes that we did within a 3-hour time span. We had 9 technicians, 2 instructors, we had volunteers from the Rotary Club, and this would not have been possible without the help of all of you. We ended up having the Plum IT help do the registration, the admin help do the advertising. DPW, they opened up their garage for us. At one point in time, we had 9 cars in there. It kind of looked when like I took a picture, mass chaos, but it went perfectly because of what Jason did with our registration. And so the police were up there as well. The one, Christina, she's not even a car seat tech, but she had no choice because her partner was there. We literally had her in the cars trying to get weight in those seats to tighten them up. It was a great event, and I come to learn that this was one of the most successful in Western Pennsylvania that we held right across the street. So I can't thank everybody enough for what they did to make this happen and to be as successful. Some of the main people for these car seat safety checks were there, and they were just dumbfounded. They said that people heard it from churches, from child care places to libraries. I mean, everybody really helped with that. So I will never be able to show my appreciation for that. So, you know, once again, thank you all. So questions, comments, a little story to make me smile? I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Maloney. Okay, Mr. Majernik, Planning and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. The Planning and Economic Development Report. There were 76 permits issued for a total of $43,995 in revenue. The Zoning Hearing Board approved a variance of a 3x6 privacy fence to be located in the front yard of 663 Harbor View. Staff is discussing demolitions for 2024-2025. Staff submitted a grant for $500,000 for the redevelopment of the former borough building site. Code enforcement completed 74 residential and apartment occupancy inspections, addressed and inspected 56 violations for junk and debris, abandoned vehicles, vacant structures, rodents, occupancy violations, and illegal dumping. 30 letters of violation have been sent. 5 citations have been filed with the magistrate. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Majernik. Mr. Taylor, Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. President. The trimming and grass cutting maintenance at all the parks and playing fields was ongoing during the past month, as well as weekly playground inspections. At the community center, routine maintenance and new wall outlets were installed. At the municipal complex, the gymnasium floor was replaced by the contractor since the original flooring had a factory defect in the material that was used. This work was completed at no expense to the borough. Pop It and Drop It Million Tab Challenge continues. You can drop off your pull tabs at the borough building for the Ronald McDonald House. Fall Fest was well attended with 500 pumpkins being distributed to the children who registered. We had volunteers from several community groups, Plum High Schools, and our borough staff. The library is having their trunk of treat at the municipal complex, and the borough apps department will be showing Hocus Pocus #2 on Saturday, October 26th. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Okay, that brings us to the citizens' comments on non-agenda items. No one has signed up, but don't see anybody who really wants to talk about anything, but that's fine. And that brings us to adjournment. I need a motion to adjourn. I have a motion on the floor to adjourn from Mr. Majernik. I have a second by Mr. Slock. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.